following is a Comfortably Zoned Radio Network production.
Good afternoon, everybody. This is Al Blumkin on the Comfortably Zoned Radio Network. I'm here with my two co-hosts, David Nemec, who you're all familiar with. Welcome, David.
Welcome to both of you.
And Al Anderson, a great friend of mine who I've known since 1961, who's a huge Indian fan and is still waiting for them to win a World Series after 70 years. Welcome, Al.
Hey, appreciate that. There's quite a bit of hope this year, but we'll
okay, and today we're going to discuss primarily the 2018 Indians, and time permits we'll drift into other areas. Okay, which one of you guys want to start? Al?
Okay, well, actually, I decided to do a little bit of homework, David, and looked up and verified, something that I obviously had presumed. I looked up the September averages of the regular players for Cleveland, and Brantley for the September, Michael Brantley is hitting 351. That's by far the best, and the worst is Jose Ramirez at 175.
I've been watching the box scores a bit. Yeah, I've noticed that he's really dropped off.
And, when I was I saw, I guess, 3 games in September, and clearly teams have decided to try not to throw fastballs to him and are specializing, in off-speed pitches, 77, 79, 81 miles an hour. And Jose, obviously, he's still either trying to kill the ball and often popping up, or, frankly, just being way out in front of it, because if they have a good changeup, it seems to work on him. And it's and I don't know, David, do you even know the name of who Cleveland's batting coach is this year?
I don't. No.
I don't either.
Last year?
I'm not, it's, I know, the pitching coach last year was Mickey Callaway, and this year it's Carl Willis.
I know that. Yeah, you know him. I know he went to manage the Mets, but I'm not even sure who their pitching coach is now.
It's Carl Willis.
Willis. Okay. Willis.
The ex-Cardinal player pitcher from years ago, right? Yeah.
But
I too have noticed this. I haven't realized Brantley was doing that well, but I have noticed that not only Ramirez but Lindor have dropped off considerably in recent weeks, and the rest of the team isn't doing much either. They've been kind of wallowing around 500 for the last 6 weeks, or even maybe 2 months. Not like last year, they put on that great winning streak, and I tend to think that took a bit out of them. And when they got into the playoffs, and I think they got a bit overconfident against the Yankees when they took a 2-0 lead, and the Yankees kind of handed them the second game. But this year, I don't know. Unless you've seen something I haven't, Al, in recent weeks, the bullpen doesn't look like it's that much stronger from that trade with San Diego, and definitely the sticks aren't there. They're not really hitting that much.
Well, the guy, what's his name, A.J. Simber. Simber is a submarine ball pitcher. And a right-hand submarine ball pitcher. And I wondered if they, last year we had Joe Smith, and Joe Smith was a right-handed submarine ball pitcher. And Smith did fine, but Simber has been atrocious. And he came in with this 1.46 earned run average from San Diego, and I think Tito keeps hoping he's going to find it again, but he's almost been batting practice. His earned run average for Cleveland is right around 9. And,
I didn't realize that. Wow.
Even on the postseason roster.
He might not make it. You're right. Yeah, I see a lot of new names in the box scores. I get their call-up September call-ups.
I know.
I don't know that any of them are going to be on the playoff roster, but
Well, basically, they've had the division clinched since, almost since July 4th. So, it's
been May 1st, but it really has been for a very long time. And really, it's a shame when you have the weakest division. But on the other hand, the pitching staff, Kluber, Trevor Bauer, Carrasco, and Clevenger, you probably have heard, this is the first time ever a team had 4 pitchers with 200 strikeouts on the same staff.
No, I didn't realize that. Wow.
But, this is the era that batters strike out like crazy, so.
Yeah, I'll keep that level because we were losing you a little bit.
Okay, I'll try.
All right.
Can you hear me all right, Al?
Yeah, you're fine. Yeah.
Good.
And I don't know if you were watching the Sunday night game, but it was believed by many Cleveland fans they were jinxed when Jessica Mendoza and Alex Rodriguez and Matt Vasgersian all picked Cleveland to win the World Series.
No, I didn't see it.
And that it's reminiscent to Cleveland fans of the Sports Illustrated cover.
In 1987.
1987, yeah.
Yeah, they're the first team, I think, went from 100 losses to a winning season to back to 100 losses.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that wasn't true. They didn't make any changes in their pitching staff, which was marginal the year before, and it got worse in '87. Yeah. And their pitching staff this year, you're talking about the starters now, and they've been pretty good,
Absolutely.
pretty solid throughout. But the bullpen has been pretty atrocious. And their outfield is, really
Al has never been an Oliver Perez fan, but it's been Oliver Perez as a left-handed specialist who has been fantastic for Cleveland. And I frankly think it's going to be the best year of his career. But,
wow.
And I don't know if Carl Willis gave him something or the fear of finally having to retire and make a real living, got to Oliver Perez. But his earned run average is like 1.20. It's by far the best, as you said, David, the bullpen is very questionable.
Yeah, if I were Francona, I would leave the starters in as long as possible.
Exactly.
Postseason. Yeah, and if they have to pitch a complete game, even 10 innings, I'd go with it. Every win, it's going to be precious because.
Well, how many complete games do they have this year?
Cleveland's one of the highest in complete games this year, and I know
they have 5 or something like that.
5 or 6, you're right, Al. It's not.
Well, yeah.
Right. But on the other hand, they've had 15 shutouts, and I think that again is the highest of any team in baseball.
Well, they definitely have the pitching. If they had the bats, I don't know. I was really surprised when they were able to pick up Donaldson. I don't know how that slipped by, because it looked to me like, I did read that, the Red Sox and Yankees certainly were angry about it, and
yes.
I think a number of other teams were. I don't know. And I noticed he's been DHing lately. I don't know whether he's equipped to play in the field or a 9 inning
I saw him
game.
play third again, a couple games, and he made some very nice plays. I think the people in Cleveland are, and that'll be another one. I presume I didn't even put or think about Donaldson. Will they? But that kind of gets to this whole subject. What will Cleveland do at the end of the year? They took the chance on Brantley from last year. And
Donaldson's a rental. Yeah.
Well, that's what you presume. But will Donald? He's going to be offered something by Cleveland, but Cleveland shouldn't be able to offer enough. If he plays well in the playoffs, Donaldson could get a great contract. I frankly would like my only wish, Donaldson to be the World Series MVP. That's all.
Yeah.
Well,
if that happens,
fair things for us, David.
Yeah, I would settle for that too, because I don't think they're going to be able to keep Miller. I don't think they're going to be able to keep. They might not be able to keep Brantley, and Cody Allen's probably going to walk too. So yeah, they are going to lose a lot, and their outfield is so patchy that I don't know what happened to all these guys. Naquin, Zimmer, and Chisenhall, they all hurt. They're all
right, and Chisenhall. You basically right. You've got three outfielders, and all of them were doing well. But again, I looked up the numbers. Cabrera's hitting 284 for the end. I mean, the bad numbers, and here's that name again, Jason Kipnis, 235. He is the lowest outside of Jose Ramirez.
Yeah, but you're saying that Francona loves Jason Kipnis.
Yeah. I don't know why.
He's still.
He's got to. If he plays center field in the playoffs, that's trouble. But I don't know who they can put up. All they have is Davis beside him.
Well, Greg Allen's very quick, but he seems a little shaky sometimes. He's made some marvelous catches. And I looked up his numbers. He has hit 279 for September. So
that'd be decent enough to at least keep him on the playoff roster.
Well, he's fast.
I'd rather see him out there than Kipnis.
Almost anybody, and I just worry there's going to be some shot that's just going to go a little bit over Kipnis's head, or that he misjudges. I've seen him take false steps, either forward or just doesn't have the experience.
Yeah, that's not good.
Now, why is he doing this? The guy is obviously not a offensive juggernaut.
Well,
no, I think they've got to play Allen in center field for his fielding, and since Kipnis doesn't offer that much at the plate, I don't see they're going to lose too much there by giving Allen the at bats too, and I don't know. I don't.
Josh Tomlin into the rotation.
I see that, and he seems to be doing pretty well.
Well, he's done a little bit better. But he was so atrocious. Bieber is 11-5, and Al knows this story. My grandson plays with his first cousin, and my son has actually met his dad, and so West Coast. My son's out there in Seattle, but Shane Bieber, and I believe his record's like 11-5. I mean, and he almost always is good for the first few innings. And it seems to me, David, that might be the sign. Guess what? Why shouldn't we try to convert this guy into a reliever?
It's tough and you can't. It's not that easy. It's a different mindset. They got to give him some relief work now. Even now it's pretty late in the season.
But to see it in spring training, a guy though who so often is good for 3 or 4 innings, then eliminate the chance for the third time around by having him just in there, for an inning or two.
Well, they could do what Tampa Bay has done all year, and use 3 or 4 relievers in place of the starters, 3 or 4 pitchers who are good for 3 or 4 innings. Lead off maybe with Bieber, let him go 4 innings, and then bring in, I don't know, you might end up with Perez for the 8th and 9th, but you get somebody through the middle. Tomlin has looked. I haven't seen him all year, but I know from watching him 2 years ago that he can be a pretty good pitcher for a couple.
Well, I think
he can at least get through a batting order one time. Second time
that
through the order.
the thing was early in the year. You know, he was leading the majors. He had 42 innings and 21 home runs allowed. I mean, a homer every 2 innings is just.
Yeah,
that's a.
That's not good.
But anyhow, I think you're right. He has settled down. But I think Tomlin and Kipnis are people that. Hey, and Kipnis had a good playoff and series in 2016, and so did Tomlin. And maybe, you know, Tito still remembers that, but it isn't.
Well, I think everybody remembers that Kipnis nearly hit a walk-off home run to win the series. And just wasn't that far
Rajay
off
Davis, one of the reasons we have Rajay back is because of his 8th-inning homer against Chapman and everything. And yet, I mean, Rajay, Al, am I right? He's about 39 years old?
Yeah, he's been around a long time. I think the Pirates had him at one point. Yeah.
Stolen bases.
Yeah.
This year.
Well, I think he's a smart base runner. That can be worth something, and I think they'll probably keep him on the playoff roster.
I hope so. Yeah, I think he's going to be out there. Yeah, I should have looked up. Actually, what I didn't think about looking up what Donaldson, because Donaldson's numbers, some of that's from early, you know, for what he's hit for the year, is back, you know, to Toronto and when he was injured.
And he's hurt most of the time.
Yeah.
Hurt, right.
Yeah.
So.
And they're going to get the Astros in the division series.
Oh, they're going to. Yeah,
that's going to be very tough.
They're going to get. Yeah, they're going to get a 5-game series, and the Astros have a better lineup, without question. And
clearly, I
their
think
pitching hasn't been as good as everybody expected it to be, but it's been good enough.
And it's deteriorated. Verlander hasn't been as good lately, and Cole.
Keuchel has been very disappointing this year.
All year.
Cole and Morton, I think, is hurt.
And Morton, So I think the pitching.
And their bullpen has improved since they got Osuna from Toronto, because their bullpen was a disaster area for quite a while.
Right, they were, I think, as bad or worse than Cleveland. So
yeah, they got Osuna from Toronto. They gave up Giles, who was extremely good at blowing saves. He blew one against the Yankees and walked off the mound. He punched himself in the face. Not if either of you saw that on the quick pitch or anything like that, but he lost the game to the Yankees, and he punched himself in the face as he was walking off the mound at the end of it.
Well, it's probably the only target he reached the whole game.
Yeah.
David, I don't know. Have you heard the story about how the Indians signed Jose Ramirez? The scout was going, I don't know who the other player was. They were scouting some other prospect in the Dominican Republic, I guess, and the scout came back and said, forget about XYZ, the other character. There's this kid. He's unbelievable, and I think we can sign him cheap. And the legend began that actually the initial offer the Indians offered him was $5,000, and Ramirez said yes. But then the contact said, we don't sign anybody with that small. The minimum we sign a prospect is $10,000.
No, I haven't heard that. No, I know that he didn't, when he first came up, he didn't seem to be that much. I mean, really, I don't remember, distinctly, but his first couple of seasons, didn't he hit in the low 200s?
I think, 230, 240. But I mean, when he exploded out last year, I mean, and I think
now he apparently he's stubborn. I'm surprised Francona's not working with him, or somebody isn't, to make him adjust to how they're pitching him, because he is murder on fastballs. And whenever I've seen him, which hasn't been that much this year. Early in the year, I saw him a few times, and then I just see his average. I look at him every, in the box scores, and he's 0 for 4 or 1 for 4 or 0 for 3 with a walk, or and his average, he was around 300.
Well, it was around 300. Yeah, it's down to 273 now. But he is one of, I don't know, Al, how many other guys besides him? He has about 25 more walks than strikeouts.
Not too many. Yeah. Excuse me. There's not too many of those around. In fact, somebody in one of my Facebook groups posted that this year there's going to be more. Overall, there's going to be more strikeouts than hits.
Yeah,
which is pretty impressive. And Moncada on the White Sox has to get 10 over the weekend to pass Mark Reynolds' season record of 223.
Oh my!
Well, Chris Davis has been benched, right, by the Orioles.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Otherwise, Chris Davis would be challenging as well.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's like what they did with Sparky Anderson did with Rob Deere in 1991. They sat him down most of the last month. They only wound up with 175.
Well, there was a few years that there were different players who were going to break the famous record, wasn't it? And then whoever the manager was would quit playing.
I think Ryan Howard got 199 2 years in a row.
Wow. Yeah, it's a different game.
I know, yeah.
Well,
as I said, when I did presentations on Rob Deere 25, 30 years ago, I thought he was a exception, and he's turned out to be a pioneer.
That's right. Yeah, I would guess that if a fair ball is in play for more than 3 minutes in the entire game, I'd be surprised. Because you have so many strikeouts, and there are quite a number of walks. There just isn't much going on. It's either all or nothing, and but Cleveland's got power hitters, but unfortunately they're facing a pitching staff that's seen them all year. Maybe not for a while. I don't know. When did they last play Houston? Probably back in midsummer or at the latest.
Right. I think, last year Cleveland had a real good record against them. I don't think it was that good this year against Houston. But
they only play 7 times.
Right.
Yeah, because it's out of division, yeah.
From the Cubs. So, on the other hand, I know Cleveland would certainly like some revenge and would like to have the starting rotation intact to play the Cubs in the World Series and get the revenge. But right now, the Cubs, if the Cubs somehow got knocked off kind of this weekend, the Cubs could end up, they'll be in the playoffs, but they could be in the wild card game. It's the Dodgers.
They're nothing in the bottom of the 4th right now. I have the game on. On ESPN right now. Yeah.
3-0. The Cubs.
2-0 at the bottom of the 4th, and the Cardinals. Hendrick seems to be on. The Cardinals look very feeble at the plate.
Oh boy. Yeah, it's too bad. I was hoping the Cardinals might make it in there, but it doesn't look good.
Well, they may make it. The odd team out may be the Dodgers. Because the Dodgers are up in San Francisco playing the Giants, who are not very good. Yeah.
The Giants do well against them. The Giants do well against them in San Francisco.
Yeah. Blumkin is an underdog tonight.
Wow.
Who are the Dodgers pitching?
Ryu.
Oh yeah, he's at times pretty good.
Yeah, he almost he pitched I think gave up 1 hit the last time he was out there. But they just coming off losing a couple of games to the Snakes, who fell out of it in September. Another crazy thing is the Phillies, who were 6 weeks ago or 7 weeks ago were 15 games over 500. They're 15-33 since then. They're 3 games under. Yeah. You talk about collapses.
Although Aaron Nola has been good as a starting pitcher, but
3-0. 3-0. Brian just hit one solo home run.
Yeah, I haven't heard much from him this year.
He's been hurt a lot.
Has he? Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. What are the Indians going to do at first base in the playoffs?
Well, wasn't Alonso just a 1-year rental? Or is he 2 years? He might be
know.
2. I'm not sure. I did happen to see, looking up that he's 31 years old.
Yeah, they signed him, I think, to replace
Santana.
Yeah, who went to the Phillies.
And
right.
He's having a better year than Santana, too, I think.
That's true. But Encarnacion, they will have for another year. And when Edwin plays first base, he's not that bad. I mean, he's not a Gold Glove, but he's not a disgrace out there.
If they do make the series, he's going to probably end up at first base. In order to that's the only way to keep him in the lineup.
Yeah.
And Alonso, I don't know what he's done. I know he had a bad slump a month or so ago. I don't know if he's come back much or not.
Yeah, and I think the Red Sox will get through. Whoever comes out of the wild card, they'll get through.
I don't know. That somehow, even though they've won a lot, I look at their team, look at their roster. They don't seem that impressive to me. Their pitching doesn't seem that impressive in particular, except for when Sale, and Sale's not Price too. Price has had a good year, but the rest of the
Price's postseason record is pretty horrible. Yeah.
Well, isn't it? Is it 1 or 0, Al? I think it's either 1 or 0 out of 12 first.
Yes, he's lost a lot. Yeah.
On the other hand, the thing with Chris Sale, Cleveland has always seemed to do well against Chris Sale, and I was anecdotally, I was in Chicago, and I saw Chris Sale pitch against Ubaldo Jimenez. And Ubaldo beat him. Cleveland beat Chris Sale. And I just know how many times I've been to games or watched games because Sale is a fastball pitcher.
Well, he couldn't make it out of the 4th inning the other day, and they said in the papers that he had mechanical problems.
Yeah, Cora was trying to doctor. But
the thing is that the Yankees' starting pitching is not all that great either.
No, well, let me ask
Tanaka was terrible last time because he and Sanchez can't talk to each other. One speaking Japanese and the other speaking Spanish.
I love that, yes.
And so they've got basically Happ, who seems to be the candidate to start the wild card game because apparently they're going to try to get Severino's 20th win on Sunday.
Why are they going to do that?
Who knows why? No.
Yeah, that's I don't think. Yeah, it doesn't make sense unless they got it clinched. No, they won't. I mean, how can they have it clinched?
Well, the Athletics are the other way, and you get to watch them very often, David.
No. Down here, the games that are on most of the time are the Angels. Even the Dodger games are on very seldom. Yeah, MLB carries all the Angels games here.
Well, Blake Trinan has been.
Yeah, his ERA's under 1. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. The closer there. Yeah.
And the other part of that, Al, I saw. He's only allowed 2 home runs all year. That's pretty good when you.
Well, if you got an run average of 0.8, you don't give up many home runs.
And well, until it was just this week, they finally had their first game where they had a lead in the 7th inning, and they ended up that they lost the game. Every game that they had the lead in the 7th inning all year, they had won.
Yeah, they're in Anaheim for the weekend. So the Yankees have to win 1 game. The A's lose 1 game, and the Yankees get the home field Wednesday.
I think
that means a lot.
But Oakland has a very good road record.
Yeah.
that doesn't, really change things that much for Oakland. And I guess it's not just since the All-Star, I think since June 1st, Oakland's the best team in all baseball, record-wise. But nobody knows the players, except for Chris Davis.
I can't.
With a K.
I can't even name one player on their roster.
Matt Chapman, the third baseman.
He's very good.
Used to be on the Cardinals, one of the outfielders. And they've got a guy named Simeon and some guy named...
Makes a lot of errors using the shortstop. Jed Lowry's second base.
Second base, and they got some outfielder who's got a gun is a tremendous fielder. Leandro, something his name. Loriendo, something like that. Starts with an L.
Right.
And he's got a great arm and that's a great fielder.
Name, I know.
Well, Lucroy is the catcher, and I saw the games in Cleveland when playing, and Lucroy was, the trade 2 years ago, and he wouldn't come to Cleveland.
No, I remember that.
Needless to say, he gets booed very heavily, and frankly, in Cleveland, Lucroy does not do well. It somehow bothers him to hear the fans. Most places, I suspect Jonathan Lucroy goes, and he's Mr. Anonymous. But that's not the case in Cleveland.
No. Well, what do you think? What is going to happen to the Indians? Do you think? I hope they get to a fifth game with Houston, because I think their pitching is a little deeper and they have a chance. But I also see a good possibility of them being swept.
Oh, that's what I worry about. Yeah, and Al, I think, knows. Frankly, I have an appointment coming up at Cleveland Clinic on October 9th, which would be Game 4 of the playoffs. I have tickets for the playoffs and World Series, but I've already checked. I can move my appointment to the very next day if I need to, if I have a conflict. That's one of the things with, I'm not here to do commercials for Cleveland Clinic, but they're very, very, when you're living 220 miles from the place, they try to accommodate you.
Yeah, they just flashed that whether Milwaukee wins the division or not, they got the wild card, they're going to have the home field, no matter what happens.
Milwaukee will have the home field.
If they have to play the wild card game, yeah.
Well, you have to play I guess that's true, yeah.
And they got the Tigers all weekend, who are not exactly a powerhouse this year either.
No, Milwaukee, gets the, you're talking Milwaukee, not, I somehow was thinking you were talking about Oakland.
No.
Oakland and the Yankees, it depends what happens. And
the Yankees' magic number is 1 for the home field.
Because did they win the season series with Oakland? So if there was a tie between them and wins, the Yankees would get the home? Is that the idea?
The Yankees' magic number is 1, so it's pretty likely that either the Yankees might win the game. They're up in Fenway for the weekend, and the A's are in Anaheim. I mean, it's a possibility that I think the A's get the tiebreaker if it comes to that. But the Yankees the magic number is 1 for them to get the home field Wednesday.
Okay. Hold on a minute, guys. I got another call. I'll be right back. Oh.
Yeah,
okay.
Well, do you want to talk for a second an interregnum and talk about your Pirates?
Yeah, well, they need 1 win over Cincinnati over the weekend to finish with a winning record. It'll be 81-80 because they're not making up the Miami game that was rained out 2 Sundays ago. So they have to win 1 out of 3 to have a winning record and they're at Cincinnati for the weekend.
Well, remind me, did the Pirates did not have a winning record last year?
No, they haven't had a winning record since 2015.
Okay.
Cardinals, the runner just got picked off. And also, I'm very disappointed about the Orioles. Apparently, that rainout that they had with they made that rain. I think they made that rainout up with Boston. At Boston, they made that up. Yeah. So.
Oh, that was the split, the doubleheader when Boston.
Yeah, they were rained out with Houston, so they're playing a doubleheader last night. So they're playing a doubleheader, I think, tomorrow. But they've got to lose all four of their remaining games to get to 116 losses, so they can finish 70 games under 500.
116.
Which should be a goal, because there's only three teams since World War II that have done that. These 52 Pirates, who amazingly did that in a 154 game schedule. The 62 Mets and the 2003 Tigers.
Right, I know the 2003 Tigers disappointed you because
the 43 and 119 or 76 games under.
Yeah, they swept.
Nobody's going to equal 1889 Louisville Colonels or the 1899 Cleveland Spiders.
Yeah, they were 114 games under.
Yeah.
But the 20th century record, I think, is held by the 1916 A's, who were 81 under. They were 36 and 117.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive, too.
Yeah. Well, there's a book that came out a couple of years ago that I've read through a couple of times called As Bad as It Gets. They go through it day by day.
Yeah. So is it true that you find a neighbor's game where neighbors supposed to what game was it?
It was a game against the Red Sox. I don't remember the exact date, but the story went that it was like 100 degrees that day, and he wild pitched in the winning run at 10th inning. He says, "You think I was going to stand out here for another 2 hours, and these bums weren't going to score another run from me? You're crazy." The shortstop was Whitey Witt, who later became the first Yankee ever to bat in the old Yankee Stadium. In the original Yankee Stadium, because he was the leadoff hitter for the Yankees, playing the outfield by then. And the other little tidbit I came out with was that Billy Meyer, who managed the 52 Pirates to 42 and 112, played for that team. He was one of the catchers on that team.
Yeah.
And I think it was Joe Bush and Elmer Myers. The two pitchers won 29 out of their 36 games, the 36 wins.
Yeah, that team was bad. Yeah.
This is somewhat off the subject, but David, growing up in Cleveland, I had heard the legends of the great Cleveland scout, Cy Slapnicka.
Yeah.
And
he actually scouted one of our games when I was in high school. At least we were told it was him. Whether it was or not. It's quite possible because there was a picture with Rocky River. I don't know if you know where Rocky River is.
Sure.
Rocky River is adjacent to Bay Village. They had a big left-hander named Bob Butler, and they were scouting him. He was pitching against us. And somebody pointed out a guy sitting behind the backstop and said, "That's Cy Slapnicka." And he was certainly old enough to be Cy Slapnicka. And Cleveland
did you know? Who did you heard? See, I only knew that he signed Bob Feller and Herb Score.
He was the one that originally signed Tommy Henrik, but then they kept moving Henrik around in the minor leagues and not promoting him, and he wrote a letter to Landis, who was declared a free agent.
Well, but do you know about the players for Cleveland that Slapnicka? It began with Earl Averill. That's where he developed.
Yeah, he went back. He went back and he stayed. He was with the team. I'm not sure when he left. He left. The game I'm talking about occurred in 1956 when Butler pitched against us. And Butler ended up signing. I'm not sure if it was with Cleveland. There were a couple of pitchers in Cleveland, and there was a guy named Stan Skaza. with North Wardleton, a left-hander. He wasn't very big, but he threw hard. And Cleveland did sign him, but he didn't make it. I don't think he made it out of Class D.
Well, you remember Dick Tomanek from Avon Lake.
Oh yeah, I played summer ball with his brother Bob Tomanek, who was an infielder, and Dick came to some of our games. Yeah, so I didn't know him well, but I knew him fairly well. They lived in Avon Lake,
right?
Which is also a neighbor of Bay Village. Avon Lake is very small.
Dick Tomanek was sent to Kansas City in the Roger Maris trade for Vic Powell and Woody Hill.
Yeah.
Now the thing, though, okay, I hit the funny camp. Slapnicka, after Averill, he signed Trotsky. Oh, also, they both were in Iowa, and he discovered both of them for Cleveland.
Well,
I didn't realize that.
I mean, he must have nailed Iowa cold in the third year.
Yes, I mean, he did Iowa. Well, the big surprise that Feller, Averill, Trotsky, and Feller. I don't know where Mel Harder came, but he signed Mel Harder, and I was not aware.
He was their chief scout.
He was the super scout in much like the Tony Lucadello, Prophet of the Sandlots book. And Lucadello signed Ferguson Jenkins and Mike Schmidt for the Phillies. But Slapnicka, I didn't realize Lou Boudreau and Jeff Heath were signed by Slapnicka. They said it was 30 major leaguers. I'm not sure that isn't close to the record.
No, Lucadello had 50. Either 49 or 50, because he was written up in that Kevin Corain book that came out a bunch of years ago called $$ on the Muscle.
Okay,
yeah.
Well,
yeah.
It was
Lucadello eventually killed himself.
Yeah. That was when the team was cutting down on scouts. He went to a bar.
Yeah, well, now
you know where Slapnicka was born. He was born in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Died there, 79.
That's why Iowa was his.
That's why Iowa was his territory. The Midwest. He was definitely their Midwestern scout. And he pitched briefly.
Even with the Pirates. Al.
Yeah, well,
yeah.
Now they have the draft, and now your Baseball America puts out this prospects book every year. Now they're charging it more money than I want to spend for it, but everybody knows about everybody. You're not going to have anybody going to the bushes, in this country especially, and have somebody that's a total surprise to anybody anymore.
Well, yeah, not in this country, but
the DR and a lot of places like that. You like with the Jose Ramirez, you can probably get that, but not here anymore. Everybody knows everything.
Yeah, no, it's.
In fact, there's a story that Hal Newhouser, the Hall of Fame pitcher, who was a scout for the Astros.
Oh, I love this story.
Yeah, he recommended that they draft Derek Jeter, and they said they didn't, and he quit.
Phil Nevin. They took Phil Nevin.
Phil Nevin, yeah.
Newhouser quit.
Yeah, he quit right on the spot. Yeah.
The best prospect, Hal Newhouser, the best prospect you'd ever seen, and Houston picks Phil Nevin.
Well, the Mets in one of the early years of the draft picked a catcher named Steve Chilcott, number 1, and Reggie Jackson went number 2 to the A's because Reggie Jackson was dating a light-skinned woman, and the Met hierarchy couldn't deal with that.
Well, I think it was Al. You said that's why Vic Power, the Yankees.
Yeah, that's why Vic Power. Yeah.
Yeah, Power was.
Yeah, they sent Power to the A's before he ever played a game with the Yankees.
He was in Cleveland. He drove a pink Cadillac convertible, and he dated a lot of women, and was almost all he'd be seen driving around town.
I read the autobiography several months ago of Elgin Baylor, the Hall of Fame basketball player, And one thing that came out of that book was Elgin Baylor was colorblind. And he bought a pink Cadillac, which, in those days was known as a Pipmobile. And he took it home, and his wife said, "You realize what you got?" He said, "The color is pink." He said, get rid of it. So he took it back the next day. He couldn't tell what color. He couldn't see color.
I didn't know that. No.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. But it's very, very interesting. But that's the reason why the Mets passed up on Reggie Jackson is Steve Chilcott has been become a poster boy for every bad first round number one pick overall, and he never played a major league game.
No.
So
I remember that.
Yeah. So even with this stage with the picking players, you have to know what the heck you're doing.
It's tough. It's tough.
Yeah. It's a lot tougher now because of the way things are.
Well, it's tough. It's tough because of the metal bats too. You don't.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Ever bat with wood.
I can't watch college. I can't watch college baseball because of that.
You have to go out to the wooden bat league, summer leagues.
Yeah.
To really scout these college players. That's where all the ones that get signed. That's where they get.
Yeah.
They don't play in wooden bat leagues. They're a big handicap.
Yeah, it's 4-0 now.
This year, at MLB Network at the draft, they expected him to be in the top 10 or 12. But the point you're making, David, they talked about him. Is it the Cape Cod League? Is a wooden bat league?
That's a prospect league. Yeah.
There was one on Long Island
there.
that I followed pretty closely for a number of years.
It's like you really cannot adjust to wooden bats. And he was not even in the top 50 or 100 picks, and he was expected to be very, very high.
Who's this?
This year, but I don't know. The kid's not. He's not well known because he was drafted high, and he's not. He couldn't hit well with wooden bats.
Yeah, I guess that if you're going into organized baseball, that's excuse me, that's a detriment.
Yeah, well, there was a college coach in California who stuck with me, who made his players hit with wood, and he said, we're not going to be the greatest team, we're not going to win the NCAA, we know that, but some of you guys are coming here, you play baseball, and you're good, and you're worth taking a look at. And if you want to be taking a look at it, you got to hit with wood. And you have to start doing it in college. You can't just do it, now and then at the batting cage. You got to do it against really top-notch pitching. And he did have a number of USF, but University of San Francisco. They had some good ball teams. I used to play on their field.
By the way, David, do you know which Cleveland Indian player is living in Bay Village?
Now?
Right now.
I know who used to live there, who I delivered papers to. It was George Yulee. And there have been a number of players lived in Bay Village. But then also a number of Cleveland
2 years ago, the star reliever from 2 years ago, Andrew Miller. And he loves Bay Village. Andrew Miller.
Doesn't have to stay in Cleveland. That's interesting. No,
isn't that where Dr. Sam Shepard was from?
Yeah.
Yes, David and I. We talked about that at length. That could be another podcast sometime.
Yeah. Okay.
He was my doctor. He was the football team doctor, high school football team doctor, and I also went to him.
Wow.
My mother took me to him because she heard good things about him. So I went to him on a couple of occasions, and he had a basketball backboard in his driveway, and he used to play with us on the driveway. He was a good athlete, and he seemed like a decent guy. Everybody liked him. The football team, the coaches liked him. He hung out with the team. It was big. Everything that happened was a huge surprise. Nobody saw it coming. And nobody knows to this day what really happened. I don't think anybody ever will. But they got the wrong guy. That I'm sure of.
Yes, that's what most of us, 50, since it was 54, it was the year the Indians went to the World Series.
Right. Everything happened in Cleveland that year. Everything happened when it went sour. Yeah. It was amazing.
No, the Browns actually won the championship that year.
That's when
the Browns did.
They beat the Lions 56-10.
Barons won the hockey. The Indians won the American League pennant, and the Browns the NFL championship.
Yeah. That's well, the Browns won in '48 too. They beat the Buffalo.
Yeah, that was AAFC.
Yeah. FC.
AAFC, right?
Yeah.
So I love the quote after Paul Brown won the first little known or rarely quoted. Paul Brown after he won the championship in 1950, the NFL, and only 23,000 people came to the championship game. And while it was cold weather, it wasn't terrible for Cleveland, in December.
No, it wasn't.
Paul Brown said, Cleveland is a baseball town. Cleveland will never be a football town.
Well, he also said because they scheduled them when they came into the NFL to play the first game against the Eagles, who were the two-time defending champions. And
Friday night.
Yeah, and he said to them, the players before, says, well, tonight you're going to be able to touch Steve Van Buren.
Yeah.
And they beat them, I think, 35-10 in that game.
Yeah. And it would have been, the score would have been bigger, but that Dopey Phelps trying to punt back for a touchdown. It's called back for holding or something. Yeah,
well, the funniest thing, in 1940, the Bears beat Washington 73-0 in the championship game. And
pass, and I love the Sammy Baugh quote.
Yeah, that's what I was going to bring up, the Sammy Baugh quote after one of their receivers dropped the ball, right at the beginning of the game in the end zone. He said, what do you think the score would have been if he caught it? She said 73-7.
Yeah. It was
and they ran out of footballs to kick the extra point, so there were 4 extra points that they couldn't get, and when the game got totally out of hand because they were running out of footballs.
Yeah, it was a famous game played in Cleveland in 1945 NFL championship.
Yeah.
The
Cleveland Rams, yeah.
Yeah, Sammy Baugh was in the end zone, and the goalposts were on the goal line, and Baugh threw a pass from the end zone, hit the goalpost, and there was a safety, and the Browns won 15-14. They missed an extra, or not the Browns, the Rams. And they missed an.
Then they moved out to L.A. the next year.
Yeah.
Right after they moved out to Los Angeles.
Yeah, they moved to L.A. and they saw the Browns coming, and the Browns had already signed a lease for the stadium to use the stadium, and the Rams were going to have to play in League Park if they stayed in Cleveland. And League Park was still used for some Indians games, and through 46. And 47 they went to the stadium permanently. But,
The funny little story was when I was in the Army Reserve, I was in a meeting one Saturday, and it was Saturday during the college football season, and Nebraska beat Army 77-7. So when I heard that final score on the radio, I said, they're going to call us up.
To play for your Army.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Well. Yeah.
Anyway, it was very enjoyable. Al, I just want to mention one thing. The Pitt game's on ESPNU tomorrow, 3:30.
Right.
The Cleveland game?
No, the Pitt and the UCF.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Pitt and North Carolina got killed by Miami 47-10 last night. So it looks like a long year for the Pitt Panthers.
It was a long year for our football team for college.
Yeah.
And I hope when the playoffs start next weekend, if Cleveland can win Game 1, I think, that would that can be.
Well, I hope they don't make the mistake of signing somebody beside Kluber this year. I mean, last year they started Bauer in game one. That really, I never understood that decision. He won, and Kluber ended up getting blasted in game two, getting knocked out. And he got knocked out when he came back, too. I don't think he was rested. And
there was an injury that the Indians did not, talk about in the press. That's the reason Cooper was not good. I don't know what was wrong, where the injury was, but he wasn't right. I think this year, he's got 2 Cy Youngs, and this is the first time he won 20 games.
Has he got 20 wins now?
He does. He has 20 wins. Blake Snell's 21, and his earned run average. Snell, I think, is a lock for the American League.
Oh, Snell to me, I saw him pitch against Cleveland, and he shut Cleveland down pretty cold. And he's the best pitcher I've seen this year, without a doubt. I haven't really seen Kershaw, but I've seen I've seen most of the others at least once. He's good.
All the Sabre geeks, think that DeGrom should win the Cy Young Award in the National League, and they think that Trout, even though that team is mediocre at best, should get the MVP again.
I think he's
in the American League.
There's nobody. Well, it's going to be Mookie Betts.
It's going to be Betts, yeah.
Yeah.
It should be Scherzer in the National League, but I'm worried, since you've got the King Felix thing, right, Al?
Yeah. DeGrom is 10-9 with a 1.70 ERA. Yeah. And that's going to be it because he's not pitching this weekend. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he had a season.
Yeah, he had a season.
He should finish second if he didn't get him. He might get him because the Nationals are such a disappointment that it's possible. Yeah.
Well, we'll see. All right, gentlemen.
All right. Thank you both.
Enjoyed it, David.
Okay. I want to thank David and Al for coming on today. I think we had a very good discussion. I hope people who listen to this will enjoy it. And we'll see, we'll see everybody soon. Thank you both.
Thank you.
If Cleveland wins in some playoff games, maybe we can do it again, David.
Okay.
I hope so.
Take care, everybody.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
This has been a Comfortably Zoned Radio Network production.